So we talked about this on the last podcast. At that point, we didn't know what Ford was doing. We just knew the GTD was back and someone got an unofficial time for it. Well, apparently that time is official. It is 6 minutes, 40.835 seconds, which is insane. It's 8 seconds faster than the ZR1X.
It's 11 seconds faster than its last attempt.
Not all the details have been revealed yet, but we do know a couple of things. This is still using the 5.2-liter V8, but apparently it has more power. It does have dive planes and some other...
More than 800 and something?
815 horsepower on the standard GTD. This apparently is going to have more.
Jeez.
They reduced weight with lighter suspension, new seats, magnesium wheels, and it receives a lot more, like, very track-focused, grippier tires.
You could be pretty secure in the idea that this was a response to the ZR1X, right?
That's what I would think.
If you assumed that, I can't imagine that's too far wrong. And I know everyone at Ford's would be like, "Oh, we only pay attention to improving. We don't look at the competition," or they're going to say something like that. But
right.
like just right after they beat the record and were so high and mighty about it, that immediately that day they're like, "All right, what do we do?"
I highly doubted that happened that day. Both of these cars were probably developed concurrently. The ZR1X and the GTD competition. Like it's unlikely that the ZR1X is released and then they just like slap this together.
Well, let me ask you this, Mason. When can you buy one of these?
We don't know yet.
Okay, so that means that was what the parts that they decided to throw on this thing to make it work, and they get the announcement out right away, and they'll go like, "Oh, you could buy it later. Pricing, we don't know yet. Power, whatever we figure out, we can keep the engine from blowing up at." Like that, I bet you anything that's exactly how this happened. Is that they threw the parts together? They're like, "Okay, this is the combination to make this thing beat the ZR1, and now we'll figure out selling it later."
Yeah, no one really knows. My question would be, is there any vehicle lineup that spans a larger series of
base
model to top model?
No.
The 911 was pretty broad.
Yeah.
Because you had all the way from the 911, you have the Carrera at the bottom of the lineup, and then you have this enormous, all the way up to the GT3 RS, and then the sort of paint to sample, bespoke stuff.
Yeah, you could option those to the moon. Yeah.
But this, you could go from an EcoBoost
$30,000 rental car.
Yep. To this.
Literally 10 times the price.
Yeah.
Well, the base GTD starts at $328,000. This competition,
call it closer to 400.
Who knows? But yeah, it'll be up there.
That's insane, because the ZR1X is faster, cheaper, more practical. Costs $100,000 less than this.
It was hard, yeah. When I was cross shopping both of these, that was something I really considered.
On the heels of this announcement, Ford opened up application windows for the base GTD as well.
Base GTD, such a funny phrase.
All of the GTDs that they had made were already allocated. People already applied and got them. This is another reason why I prefer the Corvette. I can't, but somebody with the funds could go to my local Chevy dealership down the road and buy a ZR1X. I'm sure they order one and you prove the funds, but
it takes a while.
You would get it. It's not the same situation with this GTD.
I think Ford should start doing the Ferrari thing. They're like, okay, well, you actually need to buy 2 EcoBoosts. You need to buy
a Ford Flex.
A Ford Flex. You need to. You actually need to buy at least one Raptor in green, and then maybe we'll consider letting you.
This is cool for the handful of people that Ford selects to buy one and put in a garage, but you're going to actually see ZR1Xs on the road, and that's cool.
Well, that's really what keeps me off of Ferrari.